Welcome back. This is a patrol story. This refers to, we got a fleet of cars, and we've always thought as the patrol guys that when they buy these cars, that someone's involved in the buying process that's making some money, because they sure as heck didn't buy cars for how good they were. They're horrible cars, horrible. Mercury Montegos, big two-door monsters, sit about this far off the ground. You know, horrible. They ran bad. The batteries would, well, not, car has nothing to do with the batteries, but it doesn't really matter. The batteries would die. We had one in my realcopstoryvideos.com where the entire tire, oh, anyway, the entire tire unit, brake mechanism, hub, everything flew off on this car. We made a turn. Okay. It's just incredible. Horrible cars. But I think somebody made money on this, you know, selling it to the police. Anyway, so some of this is I saw and some of it I heard. Okay, so we're driving around the northern part of this division, a lot of hills, and there's a couple high schools up there. And there was a spot they called the hill. Where it's behind the high school. It's just a dirt road that goes up, and they eventually develop it. But it was a huge vacant lot, and sometimes the officer would go up there and sit and just watch the schools that let out. Because on other stories, we had guys that would sit around the schools, gang members, waiting for the kids to come out, and they'd either do a drive-by or they try to assault or whatever. So now we have school officers, which is the best thing they ever did. But in those days, they didn't have school officers. It was just us. So we had to. So if you had a school in your sector and you had time, you would always try to patrol it when it let out in the afternoon, which is a good thing to do. So they're up there. And I knew a couple of guys. I know them all, obviously. They're old partners of mine. So we're nearby because we're patrolling the school also, big school. And we hear, we have a little cheater in our car. We hear, this is so-and-so needing the fire department up on the hill, up whatever the street was. Right now, our car's on fire. Our car's on fire. I thought, now we heard it was broken. We heard our fire, okay, and we thought they were being fired on, okay, and so did everybody else. So, and then they stopped broadcasting because we didn't have radios on our sides. It was in the cars. And it turns out they were getting out of the car because it was on fire and they couldn't go back in to broadcast. It came out broken. That's why we have those speakers, because sometimes the girl doesn't get it. Sometimes we didn't get it. And this time nobody got it. All we heard was so-and-so fire, okay? So we hear that. We're racing up the street and coming around the corner, and we're heading up this road, kind of a steep road to the top, and we see smoke. And then we figured, oh, wait a minute. So as we go up on top, they're standing there on the side of the dirt road there. Their car's sitting there, and they got all their equipment, shotgun, bags, and this back end of this car is a police car is in flames. So we stop and we back up and we're going, the gas tank, and they're like, oh, because they're only standing 5 feet from it. They move away, okay, way away, and we back away. We put our lights on so no got more. Here comes the supervisor come roaring up there. And we broadcast, no, their car's on fire. The car's on fire. So we hear the siren coming from an ambulance or the fire department. Well, now, boom, okay, that whole back in, because most police officers, probably should be all of them, when you hit the street, this is early on, remember this is 3 o'clock time because school's out, you usually fill your cars up to the brim because you don't know what kind of driving you're going to be doing that day. You could be just burning 5 gallons, you could burn an entire tank if you got a pursuit. So every car had a full tank. We all filled up our tanks. That was almost the standard. In fact, even if the guy came in from the day shift and gave us the keys for the night shift, which always happened, we'd say, it's got gas? Oh, it's full. Well, we pulled over and filled it just to make sure. And sometimes they didn't know. We go in there and all of a sudden we're putting in 10 gallons. That ain't full. Okay? So we always had full tanks. So that's what happened here. Once the fire got there, it didn't blow up like we see on television, a big explosion, you know, and all that. It just kind of boof, you know, there's a crackle, a pop sound, and you see the flame come up because the fuel gets cracked open, and then it just comes up and it consumes the whole car, you know. So by the time the fire department got there, you pretty much could see just the front bumper or front hood forward. That was about everything else was in flames. The seat's going up, and we're all standing there watching, and the supervisor pulls up, and we're all standing there, and then somebody says, could we light a fire to all of them? You know, that's not funny. I said, and we look at the start. He pulls out one of those pieces of crap and go, do you like your car? He goes, no, I wish they threw them all away. And see, nothing you can do, because you're not in the buyer's position. You're in the consumer part of it, and you get screwed, you know. And again, who suffers? The public, because now this car's on fire. That car's scratched off. Okay, they can't respond to citizens' requests because they don't have a car. Okay, 2 units are there helping them. They're off the mark. They're off the list of cars to call if you need help. So who loses here? When you buy a lousy car, the public. They always lose. They always lose. And nobody cares about the public. You know that. We do though, all the time. That's all I was thinking about. Well, how are we going to respond? Anyway, so great cars, you know, and thank goodness they stopped making them years ago and never to return. But they lost their car, and they had to explain it. What happened was they pulled up to watch off to a dirt road, and there's weeds around there. And I said to Koji, the car sits this far off the ground. Got the converters, it's hot, they're idling, it's summertime. Yeah, they, you don't expect that to happen. It catches the weeds. They told me they're sitting in the car and the air conditioner's on and the windows are up. The only good thing we had was our first car with air conditioning. Windows are up, and then all of a sudden I smell something. They look in the mirror and all of a sudden the back end's on fire. And they say, we're lucky we happened to smell it because they'd been sitting there when that damn thing went off, So that was funny. I said it was a mad, we broadcast, it was a mad scramble to get out of there. We had to get our equipment and the shotgun and all this stuff out of there because you get the shotgun stays in there, that's going to go off, So it was pretty cool. It was just sitting there watching this hunk, and the firemen just pulled up and they just contained it around the weeds. Didn't even hardly put, it was almost done when they got there. They just made sure it didn't spread, and they just hosed it down a little bit, and they looked at us, and off they went. And then we called for a police tow, and that piece of junk gets on the back of it. I'm surprised they didn't shine it up and put it back out again. Bunch of anal a-holes. Anyway, so I hope you liked it. It wasn't a biggie story, but I'll get a few here. So we'll see you next time. Bye bye.